Here are 4 of my more popular recipes for a 4th of July get-together. A main course, a side, and 2 desserts, either of which is always a hit. Paper pork, bacon, peach and blueberry cobbler, and a red, white, and blueberry pie. So let's get started on Darlene's table. Today I'm going to make paper pork. It's such a good recipe. So we're going to use a pork butt, what many call it, or it's a pork shoulder as well. Now, this is the easiest thing in the world. This is like the 4th time I've made it. It's so easy and it's so good. Put it in the oven before you go to bed. Wake up the next morning, you take it out. Now, it is actually so much time per pound, and that's included in the recipe. But let's get started on Darlene's table. So we'll start with 3 layers of heavy-duty aluminum foil, 4 foot long. Next, we'll put 2 layers of natural parchment paper. I found this on Amazon. It's the only place I can find it, the brown. You may have it in your store. But 2 layers of this. So 2 layers of the brown parchment and 3 layers of heavy-duty aluminum foil. And we're ready to season our meat. So I use my favorite already pre-made one. You can use the one that's included in the recipe or your favorite rub. And then after that, I rubbed brown sugar over the entire roast. And now we're ready to wrap. We'll start with the parchment. Wrap it as tight as you can. And after rolling it in one sheet, you're going to turn it in the opposite direction. Fold those ends up and start with the next layer of parchment. This is so easy. I love it. Put my roast in the oven, go to bed, do what I want to do, get it out of the oven the next morning. All right, now the first layer of foil. This is a heavy-duty foil. And we'll do the same thing. Once I've wrapped it in the one sheet, I will turn it in the opposite direction. Fold the foil up. All right, now the next layer. This is about the 3rd time or 4th time I've made this. It is so good. You can use half of it as a roast. You can do pulled pork with the other half, which is exactly what we're going to do when it's ready tomorrow. Isn't that simple? Man, I'm glad I found this recipe. I saw it. It was a Chef John recipe. So here we go. Ready to put it in my foil-lined pan, just in case there's leakage. And into the oven at 225 degrees. This one is going in for 16.5 hours. So it's 4:30, almost 4:30 p.m. And I will take it out of the oven at 9 a.m. So here we go, next day. This was a 9.5 pound pork shoulder, pork butt. It spent 16.5 hours in the oven overnight at 225 degrees. I put it in the oven at 4:30 and took it out at 9 o'clock this morning. Now,
4:30 yesterday afternoon.
Yesterday afternoon. That's right. And after wrapping it up, I'm not sure which side is up or down, the fatty side or the other one. So I had 3 layers of the foil. This beautiful roast. I'm going to cut it in half, and I'll use half to make pulled pork and the other half as a roast for lunch today. It'll just fall apart. It is so juicy and tender. See how easy it slices? It was absolutely delicious. And I just love the part of going to bed, waking up the next morning, and it's ready. My husband is going to do the shredding. He's much better at it than I am. Now afterwards, we like to add some barbecue sauce. Not real heavy, because you can always put more on if you want. But we do add some barbecue sauce to the meat on the pulled pork. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? Paper pork. For the purist out there who may scoff at this recipe, I understand. You just can't beat a slow-cooked pork butt from a wood-fired pit. But for those of us who don't have a pit and don't have the time to tend a pit for 10 to 15 hours, this recipe works for us. And let's say the weather outside is frightful, like the song says, but you have a hankering for some pulled pork. Well, here you go. The only downside is you have to do a little math, but that's why they invented the calculator. Other than that, there's no downside. This pork is so tender and so delicious and so easy. I hope you will try it soon and then tell me what you think. Well, that's it for this video, and we are on to another one coming soon. And as always, you can find this recipe along with others on my website, darlenestable.com. They'll also include a printable recipe. If you like this video, please hit the like button. That really helps my channel when you do that. Also, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. That way, you can keep up with what's going on Darlene's Table. Easy, cheesy bacon. What happens when you put corn, cheese, and bacon together in a skillet? Well, let me tell you, it's pure magic. That's what it is. They call it bacon, and it's so easy to make. Let me show you how to make this on Darlene's Table. Today, I'm making a bacon, corn, cheesy casserole. I've heard it called bacon. I've changed it just a little bit, not much, and you'll see those ingredients in the recipe. It has lots of bacon, corn. I use two different kinds of corn, white and yellow. I use frozen corn. And then cheese, and this is going to be so good. You're going to love it. So let's get started. I'm going to start by cooking the bacon on a medium high. About 8 ounces of chopped bacon. We're going to get this almost crispy, and then I'm going to brown the corn. We're almost there. All right, this is looking good. I'm adding half the corn, and I'm going to brown it. Next, we're going to add the jalapenos. I did de-seed the jalapenos. And red bell pepper. Now I'm adding the garlic. We'll give this all a good stir. The cream. This is heavy cream. 1 cup of heavy cream. The seasoning. And the rest of the corn. Bring this back to a boil. Get it good and hot. All right, folding in the green onions. Make sure everything is good and hot. Check it for seasoning. I'm going to add a little additional. I like this Martin's Nature Seasoning. All right, I've turned the heat off, and now I'm adding the cheese. It's mozzarella and Monterey Jack. 2/3 of the cheese. It's looking cheesy and stringy from the mozzarella. Now I'm adding the last third of the cheese on top. This will go under the broiler until cheese is melted and it's lightly brown. Oh, that looks so good. Time to serve. See that cheese? How nice and stringy. That's heaven on a fork. So good. The corn is slightly sweet and crunchy. The bacon brings the smoky flavor, and the cheese is making it, well, cheesy and savory. A classic combination. And this only took a total time of 40 minutes to prepare. If you like this video, then give us a like and please consider subscribing to our channel. You gotta give this a try. I know you'll enjoy it. Y'all have a blessed day. Peach and Blueberry Cobbler. It's blueberry season here, and we've gone blueberry wild at my house. A friend of mine has a blueberry farm, and this year the blueberries are out of this world fantastic. So today I'm making a peach and blueberry cobbler. Let me show you how to make it so you can make it for your family. So let's get started on Darlene's table. I've mixed the peaches and blueberries together. I used the canned peaches because the peaches that I like to use aren't ready yet. These canned peaches are good. Now, lemon zest. Mix in the lemon zest. Blend well. Now, in with the flour, we're going to make the batter. It's flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, and cinnamon. I'm going to stir the dry ingredients until they're blended. Add the milk and vanilla. Mix this until there are no lumps, nice and smooth. All right, so I melted half the butter in each of the 8x8 dishes. So half the batter. And believe me, 2 of these is not too much. This stuff is so good. Do not stir. And now the fruit. I'm going to put half the fruit in each one. This is a quick, easy, cake-type cobbler that you will really enjoy. I've got half a cup of light brown sugar, and I'll divide this light brown sugar between the 2. Bake at 375 degrees for 40 to 50 minutes or until golden brown. Doesn't that look good? Allow this to cool for a few minutes before serving. Peach and blueberry cobbler. We are at the end of springtime here and starting summer, and nothing reminds me of summer more than a good old-fashioned cobbler. And this peach blueberry cobbler is the perfect dessert for this time of the year. I hope you noticed just how easy it was to put together. I think my husband could have done it, and he can't boil water. Well, maybe. Anyway, I hope you will give this pie a try, and if you do, please let me know what you think in the comments below. And of course, you can find this recipe on my new and improved website, darlenestable.com. So that's it for this video. Please have a great rest of your day and come back for another video right here on Darlene's Table. Let's get patriotic with this refreshing red, white, and blueberry pie. Oh yeah, this pie is made with red raspberries, white cream cheese, and fresh blueberries. So simple to make and impressive to look at. Let me show you how to make this wonderful pie so you can make it for your family. So let's get started on Darlene's Table. For the first layer, it's going to be the 3/4 cup of water, 3/4 cup sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, a teaspoon of lemon. I put a pinch of salt in this, and then this is the blueberry jello to give it the nice color, and 2 cups of nice blueberries. Let's start with the sugar and cornstarch. You're going to mix these 2 ingredients well. Always do this when you have cornstarch. Mix it with the sugar well. Now add the water. We're going to make sure that this is mixed well, and then I'm going to cook it until it's thick. Keep stirring. Now turn off the heat. Now I'm adding the blueberry jello. We're going to mix this just until that jello is dissolved. Lemon juice, blueberries, 2 cups of blueberries. They're so good this year. I get these from my friend in Rye, Texas. Alright, now I've already pre-baked the pie crust and it's cooled, and we're going to pour this blueberry mixture in. I'm going to spread it out till it's even, and you want to refrigerate this until it's set. I actually put it in the freezer for an hour. That worked great. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to make the cream cheese layer. The powdered sugar and the cream cheese. Blend this well. And once this is blended, I'm also going to add a little vanilla. Now we're going to set this aside, and we're going to wait for that blueberry mixture to get very cold. So here we are, an hour later, and I'm putting the cream cheese mixture on top. I'm going to put it around evenly and spread it out, and then this is going back in the refrigerator. Or you can put it in your freezer. I would suggest putting in the freezer for maybe 30 minutes and then the refrigerator. You want this real cold. So while that's chilling, we're going to make the raspberry layer. So we've got the raspberry jello, raspberries, water, just like the blueberry mixture, only everything's raspberry. In with the sugar and the cornstarch. Mix that up. It's got a little pinch of salt in it as well. In with the water. Cook it till it's thick, just like the first layer. Once it's thick, turn the heat off. Now we're going to add the raspberry jello, and we're going to stir this until that raspberry jello is dissolved. The heat is not on. Now I'm adding the raspberries, fold them in gently. And I'm going to set this aside until that pie, with the 2 layers already, is very cold. And we want the raspberries to be completely cooled off. Not cold, you don't put it in the refrigerator, but no heat. We want this mixture to be at room temperature. Now this should go back into the refrigerator for at least 4 hours. This pie is not only pretty and pleasing to look at, but it tastes as good as it looks. The tartness of the raspberries juxtaposed with the sweetness of the blueberries is a fantastic contrast, and the cream cheese in the middle adds a sweet, creamy texture that puts this pie on another level. I hope you will give this pie a try, and if you do, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, you can find this recipe on my new and improved website, darlenestable.com. So that's it for this video. Please have a great rest of your day and come back for another video right here on Darlene's Table.